This is Jen with NorthCoastGardening.com, and I'm here today to show you how to prune a princess flower, or Tibouchina.AVI. Now this is a relatively young princess flower, and I don't want to prune it too hard. I just want to give it a little bit of a more upright, nicer shape. The way that this is coming out on the ground, pretty soon it's going to be going into the other plants, and eventually I'd like this to be a little bit more of an upright, sort of a tree-shaped shrub, like a multi-trunked tree. So because it is tender, I'm not going to go in and do all of the cleaning out that I would like to do until later on after the threat of last frost. Right now in early winter, all I'm going to do is take off some of these guys that are just hanging out here on the ground, just so you can see that nice shape that's to come, and so that if it's doing any growing, it's doing that growing up here where we want it to be, where it's going to get a little taller and provide some nice screening. So what you do is you just go ahead and choose the branches that you want to remove, and you remove them all the way. So you come all the way into where it's coming out from the plant, and you go ahead and just trim that off. Now what you don't want to do is just trim it back part way unless you want a bush. If you want a bush that's going to be very bushy all the way up and down, go ahead and do that sort of halfway cut here. But what that does, if you just sort of nip that off, is it'll encourage more growth from these side buds right here. So you'll end up with a really bushy impact. Now what I want is that nice open vase-shaped look. So I'm just going to go in and prune these off entirely wherever they start on the trunk. So this one right here, where it's coming out, these guys right in here. And you can see how we're beginning to reveal the base of the plant there. Now this one's broken, so I'll just remove that. Now this one is just hanging on the ground, so I'm just grabbing hold of it and pruning it off entirely. Now the same thing over here. I'd say anything that's within a foot or so of the ground is a good candidate for removing it entirely if you're trying to train to have that nice vase-shaped appearance. So as we prune, we're revealing the form a little bit better. You can start to see that we've got this nice branch structure that is coming upwards in that nice habit, nice open vase-shaped habit. So this guy is just scootling out to the side a little too much, so I'm going to prune that right off. Right here. Now around the back side of the shrub, same thing. I'm just pruning these off, and you'll see from the front pretty soon what impact I'm having on the back here. I like to sort of clear up the trimmings as I go so that you can see what you're doing. Now around this side, it's now looking a little bit off balance. And you can see the difference. Here's the before, and here's the after. And the before is just a lot more congested, and the after is just a little bit more upright, and it provides a little more room for the ground covers and the small shrubs that are in here to really do their thing. So this guy, I think this one's just coming straight on out. I'm going to go ahead and prune these guys off. Anything that's actively laying on the ground you want to remove. And this one, that one just seems to be coming straight on out, and you can't really see this nice form that you have on the plant, so go ahead and remove those. Now princess flowers are pretty easy to prune in the sense that when you're pruning them, if you want to pinch them, you can go ahead and pinch them back to where you've got some little side shoots, or any place where you've got foliage. And you can even prune them to hard wood, which is just a brown bare stem. I don't recommend doing that unless you really need to. If you do prune them to hard wood, make sure you do it after the last threat of frost has passed, because they are susceptible to frost. So this guy, I hate to prune it off because it's flowering, so maybe I will leave just that one for now, give it a little bit of flower pity right there. But I will take these that are hanging out right on the ground here. I'll remove those. One back in here that's hanging out on the ground. Now let's stand back and take a look at our work. it does look like this one's coming out just a little too far. So what I'm going to do, you can see here how this is coming out a little too far, so I'm going to nip that one off, and then because I want it to grow upwards and not outwards, I'm going to go ahead and nip this one out too. So you just think about where do you want your plant to be growing, and you let it go in that direction and prune anything else that you don't want off. So this is Jen with NorthCoastGardening.com showing you how to prune a princess flower for a beautiful upright multi-stemmed shape.